Hello friends, welcome back. So let's work on this project. So inside highlight type folder, we have a folder called start. Let's open this folder, and inside src folder, we have app.js file. So this is the file where we will do our work. Now inside the terminal, let's go inside this highlight type folder. So I'll do cd space dot dot cd space dot dot. Now we are inside the main project folder, and here I'll do cd p03 tab. Now we are inside highlight tab folder, and now we need to go inside start folder. So I'll do cd start tab and hit enter. Okay, let me clear this, and here I'll do npm install, so it will install all the packages. Now this is done. Let me clear this, and now I'll do npm start. So our application is started. Now nothing will work. Okay, so let's go back to VS Code, and let me close this, and I'll make this side by side. So inside the app.js file, we have the HTML code, and here are the tabs. Okay, so this is the first tab, home. The second one is about, and the third one is feature. Okay, so inside this div, I'll create a div, and I'll say class name that is equal to highlight. Okay, and this will be a self close div. Okay, let me make this bigger. So this will be a self close div, and now we need to do some css work. So let's open app.css. So here is app.css file. Let me close this, and let's scroll down, and at the bottom, as you can see, here I have written a comment, add your highlight code. Okay, so here I'll say dot highlight. Okay, and here we need to add some css properties. So first one is display block, then we need position absolute, then we need height, that is going to be 80 pixels, then we need width, that is going to be 300 pixels, then I need background, which is going to be white, then we need border radius, that is going to be 50%. Okay, and now we also need opacity, that is going to be 0.3. Let me save this. So let me make this opacity 1. Okay, because we are not able to see any color over it. Okay, this file, we need to save this, so let me save this file. So now, as you can see, if I keep this opacity as 0.3, save this. So as you can see, this gives us a highlight over the entire tab. Okay, and let's add few more css properties. So here I'll say event pointer events, and that is going to be none. Okay, we don't need any pointer event, and this I need a little more at the top side, so I'll just do top, and I'll give minus 10 pixels. Okay, let me save this. So as you can see, it is gone over this home. Okay, so instead of this white background, so it is looking too much of white, so here I'll take a background of gradient. So I'll say radial gradient. Okay, and here we can say RGBA, that is going to be 157, 128, and 238 and 1. Okay, and I'll just add a comma, and I'll again say RGBA, that is going to be 157, 128, 238 and 0. Okay, so let me save this, and now as you can see, and let me increase the opacity because now we can't see anything. So okay, now as you can see, we are having a opacity of 0.8, so this is looking fine. So let me make the opacity 1. I'll show you one more thing. So as you can see here, it is more darker than this part on the edges, so it is little stronger in the middle, and it fades off to 0 opacity on the edges. Okay, so now we are done with the css. Now let's work on the functionality. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a variable in state, and what this variable is going to let us do is basically move over the left property in css. So here I'll say left, that is going to be minus 200 pixels. Okay, Let me save this. So now as you can see, the shadow has moved from right to left. Okay, so now we have, as we have given the negative value, so this change has happened. Now let's go inside app.js and let's create a state. So here I'll say const, and the name of the variable I'll give highlight style. Okay, and set highlight style. Okay, and that is equal to use state. So initially we'll take an object, and inside the object I'll say left, that is going to be 0. Okay, and we need to import use state as well. So here I'll say use state. Okay, let me save this. Now inside this highlight div I'll say style, that is equal to and double curly braces left, that is 100. Okay, let me save this. So now as you can see, this has gone towards the right hand side, or maybe I can say -100. So it is covering the entire area. Okay, so let's keep it -100. So now the question is, how do we actually listen for our mouse movement so that we can update this variable right here? So now let's use this variable inside the style. So here I'll just remove this object and I just paste the variable. Okay, let me save this. Let me make this bigger. Okay, now whenever we update the state variable, this will update and our highlight will start moving with our mouse. Now we want to listen on each tab on mouse movement. So let's go inside this div. So inside this div tag, okay, where we have class name tab, here I'll say on mouse move. Okay, on mouse move, that is equal to, and here we will take a method. Okay, so here I'll say move highlight. Okay, so this is the function which we need to create. So let me copy this, and here I'll just say function, and I'll just paste it here, and inside we can pass an event, and here let me add a comment, update highlight style to move the highlight, to move the highlight. Okay, here we need to say set highlight, and inside we can take an object which is left, that is going to be -200. Okay, let me save this, and now we can check it in the browser. So let me refresh this. So once I hover on this home tab, it should move the highlight. Okay, so let me do it. So as you can see, this works, but now it's stuck at -200. So we have to update this number based on the movement of our mouse. So let me show you something. So here, if I say console.log, and if I pass event, okay, let me save this, and let's do an inspect. Okay, so let me make this small, and let's go to console. Now as soon as I hover on this tab, okay, you will see the kind of events happen, and every time I have a new event keep popping up. So let me open any of this. So let's click on this. So as you can see, we have lot of events. Okay, so basically what we want is native events. So if I open this, so you can see we have client X, client Y, there are a lot of things. Basically we want a layer X from our native event. So what is native event? So basically native event is a mouse event. Okay, and inside native event we have all this properties. Okay, so now let's go to VS Code. Let me make this smaller. So here inside this left property, I'll say e dot native event dot layer X. Okay, we need this layer X, and let's remove this -200. We don't require this, and let's remove the console log as well. So let me save this, and let's clear this out, and let's refresh the page, and let's hover on this tab. So as you can see how our highlight is moving with our mouse. Okay, this is exactly what we wanted. And the last thing is we need to kind of recalculate it because of the width of the highlight. Okay, we want the highlight to be in the center of the mouse. Okay, so let's go to app.css, and here as you can see the width is 300, so we want to cut it down 50%. So let's go to app.js, and here I can say -150. Okay, so half of 300. Let me save this, And now let's check in the browser. So let me refresh. So now as you can see, this is moving from the center. Okay, so this is what we wanted and it looks good. Okay, if you want, you can keep the opacity to 1, or maybe you can just make it less opacity, so 0.8. Let's save this. Now I have make the opacity 0.8. So now as you can see, let me make this bigger. So this is moving. Okay, so the shadow, as you can see, the shadow is moving with our mouse. So this is looking fine. And now one thing we need to do is, once we hover off, okay, so right now I am on this tab, but once I hover off, this should disappear. Okay, the shadow should disappear. So what we can do is we can set the opacity to 0. Okay, so let's go to app.js, and here inside the state, okay, here I'll say opacity, and I'll give the value as 0. Let me save this, refresh it. Okay, now the opacity is 0. But one more thing we need to do is we need to create a function. Okay, so we have a event called mouse out. So here, after mouse move, I'll say on mouse out. Okay, and here I'll say equal to curly braces, and inside I'll give the name of the function which we wanted to create, which is hide highlight. Okay, now this is the function which we need to create. So let me copy this, and after this function I'll create one more function and I'll paste it inside. I'll pass the event, and inside this function I'll say set highlight style, and that is going to be left. Let me just copy this. Okay, we require this, so I'll just paste it. Okay, and here before this I'll just add a opacity of 0. So opacity will be 0. Okay, so let me save this. Okay, this should be comma. Let's save this, and now let's check this out. Okay, refresh it. So as I hover on this tab, you can see we have the opacity of 0.8, and once I am off, so this opacity goes away. Okay, if I hover on it, it will show the opacity. Once I am off, it will go away. So now the transition is very fast, so we need to add a transition effect. So let's go to app.css, and here, or maybe anywhere in this, we can just say transition, that is going to be 0.3 seconds is all. Okay, let me save this. Let's refresh this page, and now as you can see, the opacity is coming, but with a very smooth effect. Okay, so this is looking fine. So this is done. Now if I hover on this about, I will not see the effect. Okay, so we need to do this effect on all this tab. So let's go to app.js, and we need to copy this div. Okay, this highlight div on all the tabs. So let me paste it here, and again I need this on mouse move and on mouse out on every tab. So here I'll paste it. So this is very repetitive, so this is not what we wanted. Okay, but let's see. If I refresh, and now if I hover, as you can see, this is working for all the 3 tabs. If I hover on first tab also, it is affecting on both the tabs. Okay, if I do on about, so it is affecting both the tabs. Okay, so this is not we wanted. Okay, we want that if I am hovering on home, it should only show the effect on home tab. Okay, and this code is also too much repetitive. So what we can do is we will create a separate component for this. Okay, so let's do that. So we will create a reusable component. Okay, so let's copy this. Okay, let me copy this tab. Okay, first let's copy this tab. This is starting here and ending here, so let's cut this out. Okay, and about this function app, I'll create one more function, and here I'll say tab, and here I'll say return, and here we need to paste the tab which I have copied. Now let's copy the state variable and the functions which we have created. Let's cut this out, and here I'll paste it. So this is fine. Now what we can do is, let's remove all the tabs. Okay, so this one also we don't require now, and this one also we don't require, and instead we can just uh, say tab. Okay, so this is the component which we have created, so we need three tabs, so I'll just paste it, three eyes, save this, and now as you can see we are getting this three tabs, and if I hover on it, it will only show the effect on the first one, and it will show the effect on the second one and the third one. But the problem is all the tabs are showing home. We need home, about, and features. Okay, so we need to fix that. So for that, what we can do is we can use children. So let me remove this self closing, and here I'll say, okay, let me copy this. Okay, home. Okay, home, and I'll just paste it, and I'll just close this tab. Okay, and let's do it for all the tabs. So here I'll just close this tab and the third one as well. So let me close this tab, save this, and okay, this is coming. Let me remove this extra. Okay, here it is home, here it is about, and here the third one is features. Okay, let me save this, and as I refresh the page, you won't see the name of the tabs. Okay, so still there is a problem. This is some extra space which we don't require, so let me just remove this. Okay, now here we are going to use a prop which is called children. So this is inbuilt in React. Okay, this is children, and let me copy this, and here I'm going to paste this inside a curly braces, and let me save this. Okay, this is coming twice, so why it is? Okay, let me remove this home, save this. Okay, so this is now perfect. So this is home, let me refresh it. So this is home, and we are also having the effect. This is about, we are also having the effect. This is features, and we are having the effect. So this is working perfectly fine, and as you can see that we have successfully achieved what we wanted. Okay, so in the next video we will do the routing. So if I click on this about, so there should be some text which should show about content, and if I click on features, so it should redirect to feature component. Okay, so that we will do in the next video. So this is it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and bye bye.